Welcome to the next episode of Ave Homers. I am Nick.
Al.
If there is any issue with the audio in this podcast, I apologize. We're trying out recording over the phone for the first time, so if this doesn't work out, we'll figure something out for next week. But baseball season is officially a week old. What do you think, Al?
Well, first of all, I think our team suck. To begin. Second off, Tim Tebow's having a good week.
Yeah, I saw he hit a second home run.
So apparently he hit another home run today.
Yeah, he's making more news than your big league Mets.
Yeah, it's crazy. I can't believe that, but he gonna be in the majors soon.
I don't think so. He probably will be, but he's gonna come up. He's gonna be up there for a weekend, and he's gonna be embarrassed, and then they're gonna send him back down. Ain't no way he's gonna. There's no way he's cutting it in the majors.
Hey man, you never know. The way he's hitting, hitting better than Jose Reyes. Hitting better than Neil Walker, half the team right now. And the sad part about it is the Yankees ain't doing that well either.
Yeah, the question mark with the Yankees was going to be pitching, but it's been a little interesting so far. We had an opening game where Tanaka just didn't have it. Then CC just shut the Rays down. Bullpen looked like they're supposed to. Then Pineda's Pineda. He can't get people out with two strikes. He can't close out an inning with two outs. I don't know what gets into his head, but he's got the best stuff in the league pretty much, but he just can't get people out.
Maybe some Pine Tar.
Maybe. But, hold on. Before we go any further with my Yankees, did you see Yadier Molina and the ball stuck to his chest protector?
Oh, I did see that. It got stuck. That was pretty funny.
So if anybody hasn't seen it, Yadier Molina, there was a wild pitch in the dirt, bounced up, hit him in the chest protector, stuck to his chest protector. He didn't know where the ball was, couldn't find it, and they ended up losing the game because of that. And because of that, also, Major League Baseball is looking into their rules, because in the rule book for Major League Baseball, they have it so that the only person that will get in trouble for having pine tar on his person in the game is the pitcher. So the catchers a lot of times will have pine tar on their shin guards, somewhere like that, where they can, use it to doctor up the ball a little bit, give themselves a little bit more grip when they throw. And, that's something that's allowed in the rules, but because of Yadier Molina having the ball stick to his chest in plain view of everybody, they're re-looking at the rules right now.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Like the instant replay, you heard about the rule change with that. I think they got 15, 30 seconds or something like that to challenge, something like that.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I like that. You speed the game up. But at the same time, it's like, do you really need umpires, if you're going to, go against their call? But at the same time, it's like, it's kind of good for baseball so we can get an accurate, decision. But it's kind of I'm kind of in the boat with that, so I'm kind of up and down with it.
So here's the thing. I believe that the umpire strike zone is too much of a part of baseball, but they should have instant replay on the bases because the umpires make too many mistakes on the bases. Realistically, when it's a judgment call for the strike zone because everybody has a different strike zone, and even the strike zone trackers on Fox and ESPN and SNY and ES Network, everybody has a different strike zone tracker. So one thing will show up as a strike on ESPN, but it won't be a strike on Fox. So it's too hard to because I've heard them talking about having computerized strike zones at some point, and I don't think that ever should be a thing. But I do like the instant replay on the bases because it's a thing. They make a bad call and it could turn the tide of a game. And I know that's how it's been for years, and it's taken human error out of baseball, but human error needs to be taken out of certain things, you know.
No, I hear you. You're right. No, you're definitely right about that. But I just feel like, you know, going against an umpire, because obviously I'm an umpire too, I would feel like I second guess myself, you know, and you challenge me and I get overturned, like my confidence will be shot, you know. So it's just like a different feel, you know. But I guess, you know, basketball does it, football does it, so I guess they're kind of getting to the swing of things, you know, trying to keep up with the other sports, I guess. And obviously baseball is one of the slowest sports that we have. So speeding that up a little and making accurate calls will probably make the game, you know, more interesting for other people to watch, you know.
And that's all they're looking into right now is speeding up the game. The commissioner just came out and said that he came out and said that relief pitchers are slowing the game down more than anything else.
Yeah, it's true.
So I mean, it is true, and then you got managers like you know, a lot of managers, not just Girardi, but a lot of managers will, you know, first batter comes up in the inning, they'll have a pitcher up. You know, he walks somebody, they'll change to a righty. They'll walk somebody, change to a lefty. You know, get somebody out, change back to a righty, and you know they'll use like 5 pitchers in an inning. It's crazy, but that's kind of what they do. It's something that they got to look into. But to get back on topic, you know, the Yankees are really looking interesting because they got some real struggles with pitching. CC had a great game again today where if you watch that game, you go back and watch that Yankee game, CC did not have a hard hit ball all game. 6 innings, 3 runs, and every hit was a little bloop, was a jam shot. And you know, you give Orioles credit. They put the ball where they needed to put it, you know, but if CC can continue to pitch like this and give us quality starts, you know, I'm happy with that. That's what we need from CC. It's just the other members of the rotation, and we still don't know who our 5th starter is going to be. So that's what's really kind of holding us back.
That'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean to poke fun at him, but I'm kind of glad that he's like sober. You know, not touching the alcohol and all that stuff. I think that has something to do with it.
Yeah.
To be honest, we both didn't even know that he had an alcohol problem. Well, I didn't.
I don't think any fan knew it. I mean, unless they are frequently clubbing in New York or anything like that. Although I heard that he, towards the last few years of his problems, he was instead of going out with people, he was just staying in his hotel room and drinking, which is, you know, not just bad for you, but it's kind of sad at the same time. I mean, I'm assuming there's some type of depression or something going on there. But you know, he seems like he's got everything on the right foot, and you know, if he can have a good year for us and pitch like this, I'm happy. But the real problem with the Yankees right now is injuries. I mean, it's only a weekend, and we're already missing Gregorius for the first month. Gary Sanchez is on a 10-day DL with a bicep strain. Then Greg Bird has something going on with his ankle.
Something like that, yeah.
And then one of our top pitching prospects, James Caprillion, he might have to have Tommy John, which is scary. You know, that's supposed to be one of our top pitching prospects. They kept talking about he's probably going to be one of the first people called up, you know, if they need to call up a pitcher this year, and there ain't no shot of it now.
Right.
But it's been a really interesting first week. You actually texted me earlier to point out that the Twins are 5-1. Now we both said that the Twins have a lot of young talent, but we didn't think that they could put it together. We thought that and I mean it's a weekend, but you know, they look good when they're playing together. You know, that is going to be an interesting team going forward. That Twins team. You sent me a text and said you couldn't believe the Twins, and you know I knew they were doing good, but I looked into their numbers a little bit this week, and wow, they are. That is a good young team. You know, if they can put it together and keep it going. I mean, it's a week into the season, but it kind of shows their potential a little bit.
No, I'm shocked, dude. I'm really shocked. Like, it's no joke. Like, I'm really shocked. They're 5-1. I guess they won today.
Yeah. Yeah. So. again, it's a week into the season, but I mean, just looking at some of the records of some of these teams. Neither one of us thought the Rays could do anything in the East, and the Rays are 5-2.
You look at Arizona.
Arizona's 6-1. 6-1. The Giants 2-5. It goes both ways.
That shocked me. 2-5. That's something I did not expect.
The Reds are 4-2. It's a weird thing, baseball, and that's kind of why I love it, because one rookie, or one person who can make a comeback a year, all it takes is just one little spark, and any team can get going.
Exactly. I want to look at Saturday's game between the Phillies and Nationals. Did you see that score?
No.
Oh, 17-3, Phillies.
I told you, the Phillies got some young talent. I didn't think they were going to be good this year, and I mean, there's still a chance that they won't be. They're only 3-3 to start. And again, everything we're saying, it is only a week into the season.
Yeah, that's true.
Teams will fall apart. Teams will pick it up. I didn't expect the Blue Jays to be 1-5.
Yeah, I didn't expect that either.
I didn't expect the Royals to be 2-4.
Oof.
It's an interesting time in baseball, and it's always interesting to see the first week of the season, because a lot of times you'll see really great pitching performances in the beginning of the season, because the pitchers they tend to be a little bit further along than the hitters.
Right.
But we saw a lot of high scoring games so far, and
shockingly, yeah, you're right.
It's a little crazy. I mean, I don't know what's going on with a lot of these teams, but whatever it is, they kind of need to keep it going. So I watched a good portion of the 3 Yankees-Orioles games this weekend, and all I can say is the Orioles got some power, man.
They got some power. They definitely got some power. Did you see that walk-off, what's the name hit?
Yeah, that's a scary team, but they kept making a big deal about Zach Britton, and the fact that he has like 50 straight saves without giving up a run,
right?
Or without blowing a save, or something along those lines. So I did some digging into Zach Britton, and don't get me wrong, I don't mean to be negative. I don't think they're making him out to be the next big closer, the next best thing, But you gotta be really careful when you think about things like that, because Frankie Rodriguez, for like 2 years he was the closer, and then he just fell off the face of the earth.
Right.
You gotta be careful with those types of things. And I mean, he had a great year, but a lot of his saves weren't against top teams,
Correct.
And like yesterday, he almost blew the game, and he thought he did. Like, he's throwing his hands up in the air and like bending over, upset, because he thought he blew the game to Chris Carter. He thought he gave up a home run, but he didn't.
Yeah, that's not cool, man.
He didn't give it. He didn't. Carter didn't get all of it, and it didn't go out. But it was a situation where he's hittable. And that's not a good attitude for a pitcher to have either. It's like, is he expecting to lose a game?
No confidence, man.
And you would think that if you've just saved so many games in a row, you would have all the confidence in the world. But he's apparently, it's not there for him. I mean, it's that easily shaken. So I'm thinking if he goes on a streak, just blows maybe 2 games, then he's going to be shot for the season. Not for the season. He's good enough he can get it back, but that's why I don't think he's like the end-all, be-all closer.
No, right?
I thought it was also interesting in that series. They had Friday night. The Yankees. It's always been the Yankees. They try to talk about having a 3-headed monster in the bullpen: a 7th-inning guy, an 8th-inning guy, and a 9th and a closer. And they have that supposedly with Clippard, Betances, and Chapman. So I thought they were going to have that the trifecta this weekend, because Friday night Clippard blew it, Saturday night Betances blew it, and today Chapman came in I just thought it was his turn, but he did save the game for us today. So it was a thank God we got a win to close out the series and go back home 2-4.
Right. I mean, look, like you said, man, you can't beat yourself up. Baseball's a game of failures, you know. You go to bat 10 times, you get 3 hits, you're batting what, 300? That's good. You know,
that means you failed 7 times.
Exactly. The game of failure. That's what I always taught when I got to college. That's what I always was taught. It's a game of failures. You're going to fail. You know, but at the same time, some of these pitchers got to trust their stuff. You're not in the major leagues for no reason. You know, you're there for a reason. You got the stuff. You got the talent. You know, trust your stuff. Of course, people are going to get hits off you. You're facing what? The Ave Homers, the Bryce Harpers. They're good hitters. Like I said, they're in the major leagues for a reason. But so are you. So it's like that body language, that confidence. You should always be up. Even if you give up a home run. Hey, all right, whatever. Get the next one. You know? You let a pitch go right down the middle. All right, whatever. I'll get the next one. You know what I'm saying?
And you gotta have the ability to just turn it off, you know.
Exactly.
And that's why you see some people, you know, like I said, some people have like 1 or 2 great seasons and then they'll sizzle out because they just can't keep up with, you know, the pressure. You know, they let it get to them. And then you have some people who have great careers because they can just turn it off. You know, when you see somebody playing, you know, a long career and having a good career at the same time, it's crazy because, you know, that's it. You know, we were talking about the other day, they were showing Ichiro. Ichiro is like got ice in his veins, you know. He goes up there and he, you know, he doesn't strike out a lot, but, you know, he goes out there and he hits like 10 ground balls to second base in a row. And he just keeps going up there and swinging, and he keeps going up there and trying to do his thing.
Right.
And he's 43 years old, something like that, 42.
The ageless one. He doesn't care how old he is. He's going to play forever.
He's going to play till he dies, he said.
He's going to play forever. Which I don't think is going to happen. We obviously know it's not going to happen. But, hey, you never know. How old was, what's his face? I think, he played for the Mets. Wasn't it Julio Franco?
Oh, Franco, yeah. I think his last year he was 47.
Like 40. I can't remember.
I think it was 47.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But there's I think he's probably got 2 or 3 more years, and then he's probably going to go back to Japan and play as long as Japan will let him, which he's an icon over there, so let him play as long as he wants.
He should take off softball.
I don't know if he can hit a softball hard. I don't know if he can hit more than a grounder with a softball. The way he swings, his swing is just a slap hit, you know. He uses all his body weight, and whenever he pulls the ball, he just uses all his body weight. So.
Well, you never know. He might have a future in coaching. Possibility, maybe not over here, maybe over in Japan. But I think he might, maybe pull an A-Rod, maybe not.
I don't know if he'll pull an. I don't think he's gonna. I think if he does anything, it's gonna be in Japan. Whatever he does is gonna be in Japan. I think he's not the type to want to stick around after they don't let him play anymore.
Yeah, you're right.
That's why I said he's gonna go and play in Japan for as long as they'll let him. Maybe if he does become a manager, he's gonna be a player manager or something like that.
Right. Well, that'd be pretty cool. I wouldn't mind that. Well, he came up. What was that?
2001. He was rookie of the year in 2001.
One hell of a hitter, I swear. And I wish he had a little bit more pop. Put him in the conversation with Mr. Pujols.
So here's the deal with Ichiro. If you watch him take batting practice, He can hit home runs more than anybody else on a team in batting practice. But he knows that's not going to be his bread and butter.
Right.
He knows his job is to create for the team. You know, he could sit there and swing. He could probably hit 40 home runs in a year. If he tried for home runs, he could probably hit 40 in a year.
Right.
But, you know, if he's a leadoff hitter, I mean, and this is earlier in his career, but if he's a leadoff hitter and he's swinging for fences, he's not creating for his team. You know, it also, you know, takes away from his swing, and he might strike out more that way. So it's a thing where he knew what his bread and butter was, and he attacked it. But he was capable. I mean, God, the guy could pitch too, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Before he came over to the U.S., he pitched in Japan a couple times, and he had. I mean, he has a cannon for an arm in the outfield. So.
Yeah, that's true. You're definitely right about that. I just like this game, period. Even if it's outside of hitting, good fielder, boy has speed, fine tool player, you know.
So, you know, that just reminds me. Speaking of five-tool players, speaking of great players. So there was a young player that got kind of painted into a corner with a question the other day, and it just made me laugh. Manny Machado of the Orioles. He was asked by a reporter a question about the possibility of, after he becomes a free agent, signing with New York. And he tried to skirt around it and say the right things, you know, oh, you know, that's in the future, blah, blah, blah. But he also brought up the idea of a super team. So he said, you guys, you just keep saying all you want to say about me and Bryce and Gary all playing on the Yankees in 2019, and man, that would be crazy. And I'm just sitting here thinking, you know, I know the Yankees spend a lot of money, but do you not realize how much money that would cost to sign you and Bryce?
That's a lot.
Because, I mean, Bryce, they've already said Bryce is going to ask for $400 million. You know? And I think Manny is going to get Giancarlo money. You know, it might not be as screwed up of a payment schedule as the Marlins are paying Giancarlo, but I think he's going to get Giancarlo money. My whole thing with these players, though, is they gotta know when they're being baited on a question, you know.
Exactly.
And you gotta not have your fans be upset with you talking about having a super team in New York in a couple years when you still got a couple years to play, you know.
The young ones.
But it got me thinking, though. It got me thinking because, you know, Bryce Harper is going to ask for $400 million. And, you know, we've had the debate between the two of us, between Bryce Harper and Mike Trout for a long time.
Right.
And Mike Trout gave the Angels a hometown discount with his first contract. So I think it's a year or two after Harper that Trout will finally become a free agent. But if Harper does get a $400 million contract and Trout becomes a free agent after him, and I think it's his age 29 season that he's going to be a free agent.
Right.
Should Mike Trout get $450 to $500 million? I mean, we're talking monopoly money at this point, but I'm just saying, if they give it to Bryce, you know, who's a one-time MVP, what should they do for Trout, who has finished in the top 3 of the MVP voting every year of his career?
Why not 500? Why not?
Some team might do it. I mean,
hey, you get, what did the Mariners give on Robbie? They gave him what, 200?
240, I want to say.
240. Hey,
I think it was.
we're talking about Mike Trout. Robinson Cano got 200 and some change. Mike, like you said, Mike Trout's the face of the franchise.
Face of the MLB in a lot of places, you know.
Young.
And like I said, age 29 season this will be. So he's still, even if they sign him to a 10-year deal, he'll still, you know, at the end of it, he'll be 39. Which is old, but not that old comparatively to some of these other 10-year contracts that people have signed. Like Cano's, at the end of Cano's contract, he'll be 42. I think. So, it's a big difference.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Why not?
It depends on what team.
General manager, I would do it.
It depends on the team and the money situation. So here's the thing I'm interested in with baseball right now. You got the most scumbag owner in the league looking to sell his team, which is something that baseball needs. So you've got the Marlins, who, have won 2 World Series in their time, and have a lot of smart baseball people in that organization, but they have an owner that handcuffs them money-wise when he doesn't have a reason to handcuff them money-wise. So they have one of the lowest payrolls in all of baseball. They had the city of Miami pay for the stadium that they're in, the brand new stadium, the beautiful stadium. They didn't pay for it. Miami paid for that. Yet they don't pay players. That owner just pockets all the money. And, he's finally looking to sell the team because he has political aspirations now all of a sudden, which we won't get into. But so he's looking to sell the team, and I'm just hoping that whoever buys that team, and I've heard talks of Jeter being a part of a group that wants to buy them, and I've heard talks of Jeb Bush wanting to buy them. But whoever ends up buying that team, if they can put some money into that team, like if they have the money to back it all up, imagine what the Marlins can do. Because they're in a brand new stadium. They're in Miami, which is, if they're exciting, if they're, actually trying to win, how much they'll draw? That part of Florida is baseball capital. I mean, Tampa's a little bit harder, and that's why Tampa, with the shitty stadium and the fact that they never, get big free agents in, it's hard for them. But Miami, there is such a big population of people that will go to Marlins games if they actually try.
Yep, that's a big market, dude.
And I just want to see somebody go in there and spend some money and, bring in a Mike Trout, bring in a Bryce Harper, bring in a Manny Machado, and with that team and having superstars there and, not trading them, halfway into the season because you didn't really want to pay them to begin with, which is what they did that one year that they signed Burley and Reyes and, don't trade them halfway through the season,
Yeah, you don't do that.
You just faked out your fans. That's all he did. He said, "Oh, you guys built this stadium for us. Please come see us play. We're gonna spend some money since we didn't spend any money on the stadium. We're gonna spend some money on players." Oh no, we're not. We're gonna trade them halfway through the season and not pay them.
You want to know what that kind of sounds like? I know it's a different sport. When the Brooklyn Nets first moved to Brooklyn, that situation kind of reminded me of that.
Yep.
New stadium. You trade for Kevin Garnett, you trade for Paul Pierce and Jason Terry. Try to get all this, quick winning, all that money, try to attract all these fans, sell them that we're going to win, sell them. And honestly, like the Marlins, when they hired Guillen, they got Jose and everybody, it backfired.
Yeah. Well, the problem with the Marlins is there was no actual commitment. I mean, there was no actual commitment, and it was just a problem. And I just want to see a city like that have a team that they deserve to have. Because they got Stanton there. Bring in a pitcher from somewhere. Do something, because I know they're in a bad place with everything. With Fernandez and everything. But you got Stanton. Bring in another superstar, bring in a pitcher, pay somebody. You should not have a problem drawing in that place. So say they bring in somebody like a Manny Machado.
Right.
That would be huge for them. Because he would draw in Miami more than anybody. Honestly, he would draw more than Trout or Harper in Miami.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
You know how many number 13 Marlins jerseys would sell if Manny Machado signed with the Marlins?
Yeah, that'd be very sweet.
That would probably be the number 1 baseball jersey in America sales-wise, just because of how much, that community would just latch on to him.
Right.
But I just think it's a situation where, I'm looking forward to seeing a new ownership take over and kind of do the right thing, so to speak.
I hear you. I think that's a good idea. Will it happen? We don't know.
Well,
but I think that would be pretty sweet though.
They're in talks, and I'm hoping like I said, I'm hoping it happens. Because look what happened with the Dodgers. They sold, and all of a sudden they're great again. I mean, they didn't make some great decisions at first with some of the trades they brought over, like Beckett, and but that they brought in new ownership, and that new ownership, made the right calls to spend money to give the franchise and the fans what they deserve. Which is a competitive team. And I know you don't always have to spend money to be competitive, but you have to at least be willing to pay your top guy, or keep a superstar there. And even though the Rays don't sell out games, the Rays did pay Evan Longoria. He's one of the few people they paid. They paid him. They kept him in Tampa, and he's their biggest draw. And that's what you need from a team like Miami. And I know they kind of did that with Giancarlo, but it's kind of with them. They have such a bad track record, so that it's too little, too late with Giancarlo. And especially when you look at the structuring of that deal, it was just such a shitty deal. I mean,
it was a shitty deal.
I mean, don't get me wrong. He's getting paid, but he's getting paid over time.
Yeah, that was. You're right. You're definitely right about that. But that's between him and that organization. He's a young man. I think he'll be okay. But my thing is with him, let's just hope that he just stays healthy.
Yeah.
That's my main concern I want from him. I want nothing but the best for him. That's one of my favorite home run hitters, obviously, today. And I just want him to, just stay healthy, stay focused. I don't want him to go down the path of a Bautista or a Chris Davis. I don't want him. I definitely don't want to see him juicing at all. That's the one thing I don't want to see.
Very strong young man on his own. Doesn't need any help.
No, don't. But you never know. Nowadays, people want to get that heads up. They want to get that edge. I just hope that he just keeps his head clear, just take care of his body, and I'm hoping to see him hit home runs for the next 12, 15 years from now.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a big thing. It's if he stays healthy, he can do the right thing, and he can really be a difference maker for a long time. I just want to see him get some help.
Yeah, I want that too. I want that too, and I'm hoping that they'll do something on the trade deadline. Hopefully, but you know what? You never know. And that's a whole nother 2-3 months from now.
Yep.
Whole nother discussion, but let's just hope that like I said, he just stays healthy. He continue to hit 450-foot home runs.
Well, the thing is,
just sit back and watch.
The thing with his home runs that are beautiful to see is the exit velocity. How fast those balls get out of the stadium is amazing. Because,
Right.
he hits bombs, but he hits bombs that are also rockets, which are very rare to see.
I don't want to put him in the class of a Mark McGwire. Maybe like a Ortiz type. Because that's what I remember, man. They be hitting some home runs, remember the Sosa and McGwire battles that they would have?
Yeah.
That's what kind of reminds me of that. But I think he's on a whole nother level. I still remember that home run hit off of Jamie Moyer?
Yeah.
He broke the scoreboard?
Yep.
Remember that? Oh my gosh. I'll never forget that, ever.
So, let's go into a little bit of stats that So I'm just looking. I'm trying to kind of get an idea of some surprises. For the first week of the season, people that got off to a hot start that maybe we didn't expect.
Right.
So and this isn't something that I didn't expect, but when I was going through my AL MVP picks, I was back and forth between, and I was kind of sticking with Kansas City, but I was back and forth between what's his name, Eric Hosmer, and Mike Moustakas, and I ended up choosing Hosmer, but Mike Moustakas with 3 home runs so far. Giovanni Soto has 3 home runs.
Nice.
And then somebody who I've heard his name for a couple years. First as a prospect, and then as a rookie, and then I didn't hear enough and see enough to really think that he was kind of following through on the promise. But George Springer with the Astros, 4 home runs to start off.
Yes, I like them. I had him on my fantasy team one year. This is when he first came up. And you know what? I dropped him because he wasn't really doing much for me.
That's the thing. He's he had all this talent, all this, and he hasn't been the breakout star that everybody thought he was going to be. But maybe this is his year.
Hey man, you never know. You know who else is having a good year? I was shocked. Mr. Kendrick from the Phillies. I think he's hitting over 400. Howie Kendrick. I think he's hitting like I want to say 444. I want to say.
Yeah, he's not. I'm looking at top 5s for everything. He's not in the top 5 yet.
Oh, he's not.
No.
Who you got in the top 5?
JT Realmuto from the Marlins is hitting 556 so far. Matt Kemp hitting 500. Daniel Murphy hitting 480.
Oh Lord.
Brandon Drury from the Diamondbacks hitting 476, and Zach Cozart from Cincinnati hitting 450. Zach Cozart's a good player.
Shortstop, right?
Yeah, he's a good player. He gets kind of overshadowed because that team sucks, but I mean they got off to a good start so far this first week. But so here's 2 interesting players in the RBI category. One in the American League, which is actually near and dear to me, New York Yankee, who is tied for 4th in the American League in RBIs with 7. And that is Ronald Torreyes. So how is it that a light-hitting super utility guy for the Yankees is leading us in RBIs?
That's a great question. Hey man, look. Sometimes, when you're hot, you're hot.
And he's hot right now at the perfect time for us. He's about the only one. I mean, I can't say he's the only one that's hot, but, it's funny because it seemed like Matt Holliday was finally starting to come out of it, start to hit and everything. And then today, they wouldn't give him a single thing to hit. He walked 5 times in 5 plate appearances today. It was kind of sad, but and then the other one with RBIs on the NL side, Yangervis Solarte from the San Diego Padres.
Hey,
former Yankee, another super utility guy. I think he's playing third base for him, but he's actually tied for the lead in the National League with 8 RBIs.
Dang. Okay.
It's kind of surprising, It's not something you thought you would see. It's hard to talk about pitching, pitching this early in the season because everybody's got a 0.00 ERA pretty much, it seems like.
Basically.
And there's a lot of pitchers with 2 wins already who really, why do they have 2 wins, so to speak. Although I will say there are two separate Angels pitchers with 2 wins, which I wasn't expecting. Andrew Bailey and J.C. Ramirez both have 2 wins for the Angels.
Okay.
So it's an interesting thing. The NL or the leader in saves for all of baseball is in the NL, and that's Greg Holland from Colorado.
There's your boys from Colorado, man. Hey.
Colorado, I told you they look good. They're gonna surprise a lot of people this year.
You said their pitching staff is pretty nice, and their record is showing too.
Well, they've got Mike Dunn has 2 wins for Colorado. But I don't know. It's going to be an interesting year with the Rockies. They just got to put together a lot of different things, you know. But the thing is, they've got Mike Dunn is it has 2 wins, but he also is a reliever. So they got a reliever with 2 wins. That's not the greatest thing to have going on.
No, it's not really. Honestly, it's kind of, I want to say typical, but it's kind of common.
Yeah, it can be. But it means that their starters aren't doing what they need to be doing
what
so
they
far.
have to do, exactly.
You know, I mean, he's got 4 innings pitched so far this year, 2 wins. You know, he hasn't given up a run yet, Mike Dunn. But it's an interesting thing.
Right.
But I think you know, as we get further into the season, we'll see some more people who we expect to be, you know, good out there, and we'll see some people who, you know, got off the hot start slowing down. You know, it always happens. But I think I'm just excited. This first week has been really interesting. You know, it's piqued the interest, and I'm looking forward to week 2.
Oh, I am too. When the Mets get this win, I'll definitely be looking forward to week 2. You know.
I'm just, you know, as a Yankee fan, I'm just looking forward to past the Rays. You know, we got our home opener tomorrow with the Rays, which I'm tired of the Rays already. You know, it's
I hear you, man.
We're in the second week of the season and we're already playing them for the second series, and it's like, you know, you got to give us a break from the same teams over and over again. You know, spread it out a little bit.
Exactly.
There are 162 games in the season.
I don't know, I hear you. And I heard, I think Willie Randolph's throwing off the first pitch tomorrow?
It's 3 people. It's Willie Randolph, Tino Martinez, and Joe Torre to honor the World Baseball Classic.
Right, that's awesome. Yeah, because I was listening to a little bit when I was going to work today. And I thought that was pretty dope, you know? But, hey, it's something special because I heard he was wearing, Willie Randolph, he was wearing Jackie Robinson's number, something like that.
I'm not even sure.
Yeah, because that's what they were saying today when I was listening to him. And I thought that was pretty cool. And I think, isn't Jackie Robinson Day coming up soon, I thought?
Yeah, it's oh shit, I can't remember. I think it's towards the end of April or middle of April, something like that.
Right.
All right, well, I think that'll do it for this episode of Ave Homers. Any parting words, Al?
We'll see y'all next week.
We will see you guys next week.
Let's go.